Hello everyone, welcome. Today we are going to go on a slightly different adventure ride than what we've normally been doing. Today we are going to do a grocery shopping trip. And this is going to be the 100K grocery shopping trip. So I've put on my front pannier rack, which is the new rack that I just bought to test out on this ride. I've got the Ruthworks handlebar bag on, and the idea for the ride today is to test out this setup because we are planning to do a tour soon, and as some of you know, this bike is not built to be a touring bike. It's built to be more of a all-purpose randoneering gravel riding bike, and so the tubing is very, very thin. And I took this bike out on a really long tour, not really long, but a decently long tour last year, and I loaded up the back with a rear rack and found out really quickly what happens when you have a bike with a very thin walled tube and you load it up. So this bike was built with a low trail front fork, which has a bias towards a front load, and that's why we're going to do this experiment today. We're going to see how well this bike handles with about the same amount of weight from that bike tour, but now instead of having it on the back, we're going to have it on the front. So joining me today on this adventure is going to be the lovely Miss Cools. She's going to bring her handlebar bag, and she has a rear Ruthworks bike packing style bag to carry some stuff. And then I'm going to be running the lowrider panniers and the front bag. So no weight on the back other than me. So that's the experiment we're going to be doing. That's the adventure we're going on. And we're going to ride about 70 miles or so, plus or minus, to do this. And so we're hoping that at the end, I'll be able to say whether this actually will work for a extended tour that we plan to do coming up. So let's go find Miss Cools and let's get out on the road. How are you doing today, Miss Cools?
I'm doing good, thank you.
You ready for this adventure?
Oh yeah.
So what's the longest grocery shopping trip ride you've ever done?
Oh, about 15 miles one way. So 30 miles around total, about 50 kilometers.
50 kilometers? What is your preferred way to carry weight or a load on your bike?
Well, all the bikes that I've ridden have been low trail bikes and been set up for the weight to be carried on the front. And I found that my bikes ride pretty well with the weight on the front. It tracks well and carries me forward. Most of the momentum feels like it's on the front.
That should definitely go on the bottom. I don't know if it's gonna fit, so I'll just stick it in here. And then I want to kind of balance the load a little bit. So maybe I'll put a couple more of these in. Yeah. Dang. Alright, now I have stuff in here already that I bought at the other store.
I'm glad they sent you in to get the groceries.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing. I know what the essentials are. Alright, so then I guess this can go in here. Oh, one more of these guys. And we got blueberries. Ooh, we are getting full. So
Don't forget I have my rear saddlebag too.
that's true. That's
and
true.
my front handlebar bag.
That is true. You can carry this if you want.
Okay.
Alright, that's good for that side. So I think I can put this. Actually, I could probably put those in there. They're pretty light. Okay, we can stuff that in there.
Are you
This.
sure you've never done this before?
Look at all this room.
Maybe I should put that bread in my handlebar bag?
Maybe, but let's just see if it'll fit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think it's gonna all fit.
Wow.
It fits perfect.
Oh my
You can
God.
carry these chips if we don't finish them. Alright. Well, this is gonna be seriously interesting. With all of this. Oh my god, it's so heavy.
Oh, I think the handle on that side is falling off. On the pannier.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Yep. Yeah, we don't want those coming off. Alright, well, I got some snacks we can snack on before we head back.
Nicely done.
Well, so far, not too bad.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So I feel like this is heavier than I had it set up when we were doing the tour.
Okay.
And yet, it's handling the weight way differently. The bike doesn't feel like it's shaking at all. It's just actually like heavier, but it's smooth.
It doesn't look like it's shaking. When I was watching your bike on the tour, it was like fishtailing everywhere.
Yeah. Let me go in ahead of you here. Well, we made it over the big climb, so now it's mostly downhill and a lot of flat, but there is a slight headwind. And I do notice a little different with the front panniers when it comes to the wind resistance, because I got to ride behind Miss Coles and actually could feel that I was getting the draft, but it's weird, I could feel it was like the panniers pick up a little wind, because you can kind of feel it. Feel the difference when I'm normally drafting her.
Oh, wow.
Well, so far the bike is handling the weight pretty well actually, and I'm happy with it. I don't think we're gonna hit our full 100K today. I think we're gonna be about 5 miles short, or well, maybe 7 or 8 miles short. I'll have to ask Miss Coles where we're at on the mileage, but unbelievable that it still handles really well. And this is a lot more. We're gonna weigh this bike. We're gonna weigh all this stuff when we get back to see what it actually weighs. This feels heavier than what I'm gonna actually be touring with. So if it works for this, then it should definitely work with the minimal camping gear that I plan to take with us. So, what's our mileage at right now, Miss Cools?
46 miles.
46?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we were trying to go 60
Yeah,
today.
we're gonna hit exactly 50.
50?
Exactly 50.
How did we get to do that so quick?
I know.
That's so weird. I was really sure that it was about 30 miles each way.
Apparently it's 25 miles this basketball.
Yeah. Well, we could go do a quick spin up King Ridge if you want. We can go for another 10 mile, we can add 10 miles on if you want.
We can, or we could call this the almost 100K grocery shopping.
Yeah, this is such a clickbait video then. If we don't do a full 60 miles, dang. Oh well. Sorry everyone. This is a little bit of a clickbait video. We're not gonna do a full 100K grocery shopping trip, but it'll be pretty close. Oh yeah, so I do have a pro tip for you, Miss Schools.
Oh, right.
So whenever you are talking about how far you're riding, you always report it in kilometers instead of miles. Whenever you're climbing, you always report it in feet, not meters. Okay, so it sounds like you climb more. When you're talking about how light your bike is, you use kilograms. And when you're trying to impress everyone how heavy your load is that you're carrying, you always use pounds. And when you want everybody to know how hot it is outside, or how hot of a ride you're doing, you always report it in Fahrenheit. And when you want to impress people with how nice it is, you use Celsius. So those are some pro tips for you.
I'll try to remember those. It's important to use the right units to get the most wow factor.
Exactly. Okay, so this is the 161. Okay, now let's get the weight of everything with the bike. And can you see it?
No.
Come around.
Why not?
So it's 211. Okay.
Okay, easy math. 211 minus 161.
Now we'll do just, now I'll take the panniers off. Get just the weight of the panniers with the groceries.
Okay. Back around. Okay.
177.4. Okay. So it was,
It was 161.
yeah, so it's like 16 pounds roughly. Okay, so the weight of the panniers with the groceries was a little over 16 pounds. And when I did the math the first time, when I was setting all this up and I weighed my sleeping bag, the mattress, and the pillow, and the tent, I was right around 10 pounds. And that included the actual weight of the panniers themselves. I'm going to carry another roughly 5 pounds in here. So the total weight will be basically what's in the panniers right now without the bag. So that's a decent, I think that's going to be good enough. I don't think I need any more than that to have a good time. And I'll probably have to carry some food at some point. But what I'll do there is whenever I get close to where I'll be staying, I'll just grab what I need at the grocery store and not ride the whole time with all the food as well. So anyway, that is it. It works. The what is this thing called? The tubus rack worked really well. It didn't vibrate, it didn't bounce around. There was plenty of clearance between the tire fender and the rack itself. The panniers didn't fall off. I never even used the lower clasp to hold it on, so it stayed on there by itself just fine. And yeah, so overall I'm very pleased with the rack. It's very simple. It was quick to put on. It just used 2 screws to put it on, and it fits well with this front rack. There's no interference. I can still take my handlebar bag off very quickly, just like I normally can, and off I go. So if I need to run into the store or something, I can just take this with me. Or if I'm going inside somewhere and I want to take all my stuff off, it's really quick. It comes on and off really quick. So yeah, I think it's going to work. I'm really surprised because when I first did a tour on this bike and I loaded up the rear part, the weight on the back made the bike just vibrated too much. It just was too flexible, and I never thought this bike could be a good touring bike. So I couldn't be happier right now, and really want to say thanks to John Fitzgerald who built this bike for me, and yeah, it's working out really good. I can't wait to take it out on a tour. So before we go, we do need to get the official stats on the bike tour to the grocery store ride.
Okay, here I have 90 kilometers of riding and about 3,000 feet of climbing. And between the two of us, about 30 pounds of groceries that we carried back.
Okay, you remembered all the pro tips.
All right.
Good
see?
job.
I learned so quickly.
All right.
Well, we'll see you guys out there riding to the grocery store.